Some election observers say the two-party system in the U.S. is broken. Up and down most ballots this November, one candidate from both the Democratic and Republican parties are facing off. Some say it's all too predictable and unfortunate.
Political parties have too much power, but 131 changes that.
Proposition 131 in Colorado would transform most of the state's elections so that candidates from all parties would run against each other in an open primary. The top 4 vote-getters would then advance to a ranked choice general election.
Ranked choice voting is an alternative to how we vote now, which essentially is to vote for a single candidate in any particular race. A lot of folks end up having to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Instead, under this system, voters rank candidates in order of preference.
The candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voters who picked that candidate as number 1 will have their votes count for their next choice. This process continues until a candidate earns a majority and is declared the winner.
The goal is to encourage participation, give voters more choices, and put more power in their hands.
The ideal is that we can actually moderate some of the rhetoric that goes into campaigns. So, it's not voting for us versus them. It's not voting for good versus bad.
Ranked choice voting, which is backed by several of Colorado's top political leaders, is currently employed in a number of places across the country. But not everyone is a fan of the idea. Some point to this thick Colorado ballot information booklet and say ranked choice voting would drown voters in more information, make elections more complex. And they add, actually narrow ballot choices.
It's going to eliminate some of these viewpoints that aren't the moderate centrist viewpoints.
Jason Lupo with the group First Choice Counts says ranked choice voting would also be costly to implement.
We are experimenting with a untried methodology, and they can say that it's been tried as much as they want, but it's been failed in much smaller jurisdictions, and we're talking about an entire state here with 6 million people.
Alaska first used ranked choice voting in 2022. A measure to repeal it is now on this year's ballot. Colorado and 4 other states will put the method up for a vote in November.
You can't tell people to be less polarized, but you can change the rules to maybe incentivize against it. And that's really, I think, the underlying goal here.
When it comes to restoring confidence in U.S. elections, most agree this is not a magic solution.
It's not going to ensure that everybody's voice matters in this system.
But is it a step forward? That's what Colorado voters and others will have to decide. Hendrik, Sybrandy, CGTN, Denver.